What's up, everybody? This is FitSpaz Recovery. I'm your host, Paul, the producer. I'm here to help you get fit, get healthy, and stay sober. So I've had a month where I was gone. Did you miss me? Maybe, maybe not. I know a handful of people are listening at the very least. So I'm just going to keep going doing this. And to be honest with you, I missed this. Why did you miss me for a month? Because I was out of the country. I was in Italy. Went to a little town about 100 kilometers south of Rome where my dad lives. And people say we're tourists there, but we're not exactly tourists in the traditional sense because we've been there many times and my family comes from there and people know who we are there. And so it's a special place to go. And I'm just going to dive into that in just a little bit. I want to update you on my fitness. So I will actually tell you partly about my current fitness and what I did over there and whatnot. Okay, just dive right in, Paul. I'm a little out of practice with this, so I don't know how it's going to go, but I know that once I get going for like 10, 15 minutes, I'm really warmed up and things are usually clicking. So I will begin by saying I've come home. I've resumed a workout routine almost every day. I came home last Thursday, late Thursday, and my sleep has been out of whack, big time out of whack. But I have gotten good hours when I've gone to bed at night, but there have been many nights this week where I went to bed around 9 o'clock p.m. and I could not keep my eyes open anymore, and I'm trying to just shift the timeline a little more. Like, I want to be up until about 10:30-ish, and I want to sleep until about 6 or 6:30 approximately, get those number of hours solid sleep. And I've been getting solid sleep, but staying up later in the day has proven to be quite a challenge. I mean, passing out on the couch, trying to stand up, and a couple nights ago I was so chronically tired at 9 p.m. that I was whack. I was walking crooked, like as if I were drunk or something. But anyway, it's getting adjusted. I'm feeling better. I started out the first 2 days doing a recovery routine, just doing my meditation and then jumping into a good solid stretch for like 20-25 minutes because I've still been suffering with this lower back issue, this stiffness thing. In certain positions it's just like, oh wow, I feel that, and I don't know what I have to do about that. I probably have to go get help, but I'm not going to focus on that. I followed up then on, so Saturday, Sunday I did a relief routine. Monday I endeavored to do some weightlifting, chest and triceps, and I lifted a lot less than I did the last time doing this particular workout a couple months ago. And by golly, even lifting a lot less, I have gotten so sore. So it's a couple days later and my chest is sore. When I feel it like this, I'm like, ow. It really hurts. And so it's a reminder to me that jumping back into weightlifting, I have to even take more weight off so that I don't hurt myself. I'm not injured, but it's like I can really feel that discomfort. And I'm not super fond of that feeling, but I know that hitting the muscle like this will definitely make it heal and be stronger. And so it's educational, and I'm really like hurting from soreness. So yesterday I went ahead and did this MMX speed from this new program coming out called Core to Force, and that was fun. It makes you think a little bit with the coordination and form of these punching moves and whatnot, and in between there are these bursts of cardio to get yourself conditioned, and there are like 6 different 3-minute rounds, which I liked. And so you do something for 30 seconds and you switch off to something else. I really liked that format. It was cool. Today, however, a little bit different. I decided to do the country swing introduction to the moves. It's an intro to the moves of this routine country swing in this country heat program. And it barely got me warm, but it was like, it did get me warm a little bit, but just barely. It wasn't like I was sweating profusely or anything. Just as long as I get moving in the morning. I don't know if I'm going to repeat that move breakdown thing again, or if I'm going to move on to actually just trying out the routine and seeing how it goes. Maybe I'll just do the routine. I miss size. I miss doing that. But so the fun thing is when I'm in between programs, I'm having a good time mixing things up, and it keeps it really fresh for me. And I don't really feel a need to overexert and push myself so bloody hard that it's ridiculous. But going to Italy, I really missed the fitness, okay? Because I had anticipated that I would go over there and have an internet connection that would allow me to stream some workouts, and that didn't work. It was like a horrible internet connection over there. All I could really do was post on Facebook, which in and of itself, that's cool to be able to do that, but it's lame when you want to do more dynamic things. And so my iPad didn't stream workouts the way I wanted, so I wound up doing 3 total workouts when I was over there, all by myself, kind of making up my own routine, and really missing the ability to press play. I have that habit when I press play. It's just like, I'm going, I'm on, and they keep me performing at a certain level, the trainers, the workouts. But I had gone to Italy with the intention of taking somewhat of a break, because I'd been hitting it hard all year long, between the 22-minute hardcore, between the Body Beast, and even earlier in the year, what was it I did? The Master's Hammer and Chisel. It was a very good year as far as physical activity is concerned, but I've developed this stiffness in my lower back, and I wanted to take a little bit of a break over there. Unfortunately, I'm still having some stiffness, so I'm trying to combine some relief, some massage table, some I consider today, since it wasn't like super heavy duty, just getting moving, getting the blood flowing is a source of healing. And so I want to move on, but that's what I've been doing for my workouts and whatnot. But before going to Italy, I should say, I was really anxious. I was like, what's going to happen? Between having this innate fear of flying and dying in a sudden fiery death. And so I am a little bit anxious about flying, but I just kind of put that away and try and deal with it as best I can. Obviously, I'm not so scared that I don't go, but so when the plane lands, I'm literally like, oh, thank God I survived. I'm alive. So I at least know, as long as we don't get in a car accident, again, my obsessive fear of death, we're going to have a really good time here, and we did. So the food in Italy was extraordinary, and I don't know what the problem is. Before going to Italy, I've been having this problem with this sort of scabby breakout on my forehead. It's not acne, and I don't know what it is. I don't know the term. I'm missing a term in my head for what it is now, but I went to Italy, and I got good sleep. I was relaxed. I ate their food, which is a lot less genetically modified stuff, and I already do pretty well eating organic stuff over here. It's a lot more locally grown, naturally grown, I think, and by golly, this thing on my forehead started clearing up. I mean, it's not 100% cleared up now, but I also tend to wonder if it's part of the sweat from working out on a regular basis, the profuse sweat. If anything having to do with sweating is why I break out on my forehead. And so it makes me self-conscious. I'm like, okay, it's not bad enough that I don't have the full head of hair I used to have when I was younger. Now I have this blemish on my head. What the devil is that? I don't like it. But it started clearing up over there, and it made me wonder, like, if it is diet, for example, what's in my diet here that would be causing that to happen? I'm not sure. I'm not going to get totally into it, but I so miss the food, okay? I mean, you just have to experience it for a while to understand how good it is, going to certain local restaurants over there and getting these things that are like home-cooked meals that come out piping hot like they're supposed to. They don't sit in a restaurant on this surface under a heat light while they wait to serve everyone at the same time. They bring it out to each individual when it's ready, and I can't tell you how disheartening it is to come back here. So you go to an expensive corporate restaurant, I can just taste the quality of the food being like slopped together, and really kind of bugs me actually how I so often over here will be served food on a plate that is totally tepid or cold, like I said, because it's sitting on a surface there waiting to come out. And so the food, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. That's one of the disheartening things I felt like when I came back. I recall Chalene Johnson saying when I went to her event, the Marketing Impact Academy. She spoke about how when you go home, all of a sudden all the newness and the endorphins in your body from that experience kind of drop off because you go back to normal. And so you experience a little bit of this deflated feeling, this sad feeling that you have to recuperate from. And I'd have to say that is definitely true this week. There were a couple places we went in Italy where I've never been before. This place called Positano, for example, was like one of the highlights of the trip for me. This beautiful coastal town on the Amalfi Coast. A lot of tourists, just beautiful day, amazing weather. So I got really stimulated in a positive way being in this new place, very different. That Mediterranean Sea, the warm weather, it was fantastic. And then I come back here to my old habits, and it's a little bit depressing, I have to tell you, but I'm marching through it courageously because I have felt a little bit off. The first couple of days I was like excited to be here, and then all of a sudden I felt that emotional dropout. And I was like, okay, just keep going. Get back in the routine I was in before I left, because I was really liking what I was doing with the podcast and my daily routine, reading and going to the library and talking to people. Socially, Italy is just a whole different experience for me, since a lot of people know me. There are actual people I'm welcome to go out with there. A lot of things have changed since it was 11 years since I was there last. Spent a lot of time there in the past, and so people get older. Some moved away. Some, I didn't rent a car this time, which would allow me to go visit people in a way, and but still, certain people I'm very welcome to go out with, and I appreciate that so much, just being welcome. And so let me get to this. I went over there with every intention of not drinking anything, not smoking anything, and upon my arrival, I opened up this suitcase I keep there with all my stuff when I go back: extension cords, electric stuff, even a mixer, paper, drawing utensils, scissors, all these tools I have to live and exist while I'm there functionally. And I open it up, and here's a couple pipes I used to smoke hash back in the day, and a tiny bit of hash. Immediately I found that, and I was like, well, I could get high right now. And no, I didn't do that. I went to the toilet and I immediately flushed that away, because my mindset back when I was there was like, I will come, and the moment I arrive, I'll be stressed out and tired, and I won't have anything to smoke, so I will leave this for my next trip. And it was there, and so I took it. I immediately threw it away. I took the pipes I had, which were resonated, which also probably would have gotten me high, and I immediately threw those away. Good choice. And so I wasn't craving smoking much when I was there, although I do think I recall having a dream where I was smoking bongs and stuff, like it was just the normal habit, the way we do. And the other thing was drinking. Every single day I was there, I had the opportunity to drink. And I kid you not, like every day I'd go to lunch with my dad and sister. They'd order a half liter of wine or 3/4 of a liter of wine, red wine, white wine, whatever it was for the day. And it smelled yummy, it looked yummy, and I never drank. A few times we were out to lunch, and they already have a wine glass in front of you, so the people are like pouring me a wine glass. And I'll tell you, how tempting is that when someone pours a drink right in front of you, especially when it's white wine made in the area that you know is delicious and you'd love it, sweet wine. And I didn't drink. And several times I was in a bar with people, and they're like, do you want a drink? And I'm like, no, thank you. And they're like, come on. And I'm like, no, really, no, thank you. I quit drinking alcohol. And I get this look like, they stop and they go, what? Why? You're on holiday. You have to enjoy yourself. And I got this response from people. It would have made an interesting video if every time I were offered a drink and I said no, that if I got them on tape, their response, because it's like, what? It's like, I don't know why they get so upset about it. I mean, if someone says that to me, I'm like, okay, no problem. And being in my own situation, I'm not the type to push really hard, but they're literally like grabbing me a cup and pouring, are you sure? Come on, have some beer. And they're starting to want to pour me a beer. And I'm like, no, really. And I don't know if and to what extent that turns people off to me. That really changed the nature of the whole experience going there, not drinking, because I was avoiding going out with people in certain situations. And it's sad on one hand doing that, but it's also like exactly what I've done here to really reorient and change the nature of my life. I'm committed to sobriety. I'm committed to making myself the best possible person I can be, maximizing my potential completely, totally, without these aspects of the experience of life. And do I miss it sometimes? Yes. Could I have had an extraordinary time if I had loosened up and had some drinks over there? Absolutely. On another occasion, someone actually poured me a drink, and my dad said, you want to make an exception to the rule for once? And I'm like, no. I turned it down. And so I can't begin to tell you how many times I had an opportunity to drink there and how many times I had to turn it down. And it was okay, but it also changed the entire nature of the experience for me being over there and deliberately, purposefully not drinking. I mean, I watched my sister drink quite a bit. What's going on here? Are you kidding me? Like, I never hit that thing. So why'd the music start? I think it's haunted. Or it could just be a computer program glitch. I don't even know. So no drinking, no smoking in Italy. I was around some friends who smoked, and it was really not super tempting because over there they mix tobacco with the other stuff, and I'm just not into the tobacco, so it's a huge deterrent for me, knowing how I feel when I smoke tobacco. So getting up in the morning was a little different, because over here it's like I meditate and I do my exercise routine, and bam, that's like what I do in the morning. And over here I also do some reading as well. And so getting up over there, I would shower and I would come into my bedroom and start reading. And what I read when I was over there, I read through both of these books entirely when I was over there. One is The Honest Truth About Dishonesty and The Power of Habit. This one goes really in depth, telling stories about organizational habits and habits in different situations in life, the habits of success, the Starbucks habits, Keystone habits, habits that are big, major habits in your life, whether good or bad. And from those experiences with those habits, you have all these good or bad habits that come out of them. And so they talk a lot about Alcoholics Anonymous in here. There's a chapter on that, and they keep referring to it and why it works to help people sober up. And so, I mean, I wish that this one talked more specifically in depth about how to change your habits, but it serves as a good jumping board to recognize habits, the role habits play, cues for habits, and reprogramming yourself to feel like you get the same reward in the end with habits. And honesty, a big thing for me, because philosophically I find it interesting talking about all these experiences in life that, these experiments, I should say, that this author did with people, and why people have a tendency to cheat when they think they can get away with it, not even realizing that the whole point is to demonstrate that people are cheating, so they go ahead and do it. And not a lot of people, but they're just definitely those people. And I like to think that that's not me, who's someone who's gonna cheat when I have the opportunity to cheat. I'm turned off by that, in fact. But the only way to know is if I'm like a participant in the experiment, and if it's revealed to me, oh, I cheated. But I don't think I would cheat in these experiments, just because that's who I am. I just don't think I would. Some of them amount to stealing on a small level. So very interesting. I read his previous book. I have a feeling he has a new book coming out. I'm going to read that one too. Dan O'Reilly's his name. Very interesting author. I just love the way he articulates things. He seems like a genuine, honest, decent person, and I like that. I'm still in the middle of this 10 times rule, and that's a big one for me. This guy motivates me to put more effort into every little thing I'm doing. So if I'm doing X amount for the show, I should be doing 10X to make it better, to get it out there, to get the word out, everything. And my business life, my fitness, the way I approach life in general, reading more, doing more, enhancing my life all around. This is a great book to read. I don't agree with everything he said, so I'm a little over halfway on that one. It goes a little more slowly because I usually just take it one chapter at a time and absorb it. This is a very fast read, a book called Go for No. I started reading it yesterday, and I literally have like 20 pages left. It's only a 70-page book. It's a fiction book, and it's supposed to like sort of give you a perspective about approaching success as wanting failure, wanting the no, going for no. That's the title of the book, right? Reorienting your perspective so that you go for the rejection, and you want that rejection because you know that plowing through all that stuff is eventually what gets you to yes and your eventual success. So it's pretty good, a pretty good, easy story to read. You get through it quickly, and there's a really solid, powerful point there. So pick those things up. Go for no, the 10 times rule, and the other ones you can figure out if you want to read those. What was the last bit I was going to talk about? Just so coming back home from Italy, you know, over there it's like you get to take a recess from life and all the responsibilities of life. And I sat down a few times with my dad, and we had to write some emails that were important with regard to his business, and he dictates to me and we send it out and whatnot. And other than that, it was just kind of a leisurely trip, and so there's not much huge responsibility there in contrast to here. So I felt a lot of anxiousness coming home, really a lot of stress, thinking I'm coming home and I'm going to be falling back into this. And then suddenly I fall back into it, and it's like, yes, this is pretty good. It's been hard with the change in sleep to fall back into my old habits with the right emotional disposition. I still feel off. About 6 days after being back, I have to be honest with you, I'm still a little off kilter, and not as much emotionally as just with my sleep, and that affects my ability to be productive. But reading these things, like I've told you guys before, approaching the personal development, it's like there are just things in that keep me turning the wheel. I went to the library yesterday and I did a lot of reading so I cleaned my house this week. I decluttered because I always hear how Shalene Johnson, when she says declutter, I'm like, it's time to clean. And so I did a really solid cleaning of my house, mopping the floors, sweeping the floors, vacuuming, and decluttering a lot of things, and which makes me feel like I'm in control and able to do things, and it's low stress work as far as I'm concerned. And so yesterday I was at the library, and my goal was to delete things on my computer to open it up a little bit, make it function a little better. I even uploaded some security updates and all this stuff because I feel like that's my extension of myself, my computer, my functional tool to get things done. So I wanted to clean it up for the eventual work I'm going to be doing. I updated the operating system and familiarized myself with some of the new features and all kind of cool stuff that I enjoy. A light way to get productive again. And so I did all this at the library, where I also read this book, and it was pretty cool. Posted a few pieces of content online, but there's really so much more that I need to be doing, and so this is a little bit of accountability for me. I'm just telling you guys what I got to be doing, and so I will be. I put my list on the board at the library, and I'm trying to complete that list. But today I'm really happy because my daughter will be coming to me for the first time for several days, 4 days. We'll celebrate her 7th birthday on Friday, and oh man, I've missed her, and she's just been so sweet. Seeing her a couple times this week, telling me how much she missed me, and I wasn't forced. I didn't say, "Did you miss Daddy?" She's just volunteering it and saying she wants to stay with me, which really makes me feel good, because if there's any purpose that comes to me easily, it's feeling like as a father, it's just so important to me at this stage of my life, that in her being that age and like seeing her grow, modeling the behavior for her, and so I want to start wrapping this up because I'm going to this audio video conference in a little bit as something a little bit different, but I'm glad I got this going. It'll be posted later today, and if there's anything, let me tell you first as I wrap this up. Okay, as I wrap this up, I want to say thank you to Kevin MacLeod. Go to incompetech.com. He provides me with all the musical backdrop for this podcast. Wonderful stuff that he has. If you want to know more about FitSpaz, of course you can go to fitspaz.com. Also follow me on the like page on my Facebook, or on the Facebook. Follow me on Facebook at FitSpaz. My name also Paul Serini, and doing so, you'll see where I'm kind of most active with content, and I want to get more into it. And so that's the place to do it. Share it with people. Send me feedback to Paul at fitspaz.com. Let me know what you think. Tell me how I can help. Tell me topics I can address for you. Tell me your suggestions about how I can make the show be a better show if you see potential in the show. So I want to wrap this up. Like I said, I'm a little short on time. I want to thank you guys who are following my progress with this. I'm going to keep up with these once a week. It's part of my normal regular routine now. I'm sure I will talk more about this, that, and the other thing. But in the meanwhile, I want you all to have a good week. Do some cool stuff. If I can inspire you to do anything, that's amazing. And there's the TV thing again. Oh. The computer went to sleep, and I have to change that a tad bit, right? My fault as producer. How unprofessional of me. Everybody, have a nice week. I will talk to you soon.